Hello, Sue here from Alexa, and today I am with one of our Evolve Alliance provider members, Alistair Barr from Striver. Hey, Ali.
Hi, Sue. How are you?
Fabulous. Now, Alistair, you are coming into the second year of membership in the Evolve Alliance portal, and we're so thrilled to have you in there because we feel that you do an incredible job now more than ever. We think you're even more important to the profession because we know out there we have a war on talent. We know it is very difficult to find great staff, and you are doing incredible work in that graduate space, bringing students out of university, handpicking the great ones and putting them in front of really good advice firms. I guess in a nutshell, you're a recruitment firm bringing grads through and helping create future talent for advice firms. Is that a good way to sum it up?
Yeah, except the recruitment. So traditional recruitment is moved one out of one job and put into another job, and with that becomes like a cannibalization of a profession, which is fine, and there's a place for that. But no, we are like a net growth to profession. So our sort of focus for 10 years has been like, how can we make sure that we're continuously growing the pool, not eroding it? So we're a net growth solution to the profession, which we're really proud of.
Yeah, we love that. And we do know that it's a critical issue for firms, not only looking at the talent that they have in their business right now, but growing their future advisors, because it's going to take us a long time to replace the numbers as people have to get through their education to be able to be a qualified advisor. So we're going to dig into that in a little bit more detail of exactly how you do that. But I think a great place to start is to actually hear from one of your advisors that have used your services.
Hi, I'm Andrew Dunbar, Director of Apt Wealth Partners. Yeah, I've used the Striver graduate program for a couple of years now, and I attend a graduate mentoring session once every month or so. And I suppose I've found two things. One, it's a really good way to give back to the young graduates coming through, looking to start their career, giving them some advice and tips and mentoring. And then two, it's a fantastic way to look for the best graduates coming through all the universities. We've hired a number of graduates now through the program, and it's been a key contributor to our Next Gen program at Apt Wealth. Apt's got a next generation program that we run to bring through the best talent in the industry. There's a shortage of talent at the moment with advisors exiting the industry, barriers to entry with new education standards and so forth. So we've got a multi-pronged next generation strategy to bring through interns, graduates, and young developing advisors and put them through our professional year. And the Striver program's been key to having the first look at the best of those graduates coming through the university, and it's working really well. Finding the next generation of talent is absolutely key at the moment, and I would highly recommend Striver to other firms that are looking to expand their next generation programs.
Right. Well, it's no doubt that you are so popular, Ali, with the great work that you do. So tell us a little bit more about how you actually help provide tomorrow's talent for firms.
Yeah, so we do a lot of work, and historically, we've been on campuses for 10 years now. So we go out to campus, we spend time in lectures with careers fairs, with student societies, with the whole lot, jumping up and down and promoting financial planning and professional services firms, SME professional services firms, as a great place to set up a career, working in small business and I love small business. I've worked in big banks and small business, and I believe that small business or privately owned business is the backbone of the economy, and bringing those opportunities to university students who don't see them, right? They see Canva, they see Google, they see Combank, and they see Deloitte. That's what they see, and they're always going to see that because they're the biggest brands and they're the ones that have the buildings and so forth. But the majority of the employment opportunities in the country are with privately owned firms in Australia. And so what we do is sort of bring that to light and aggregate the ability to show that as a fantastic place for new entrants to come into. And so we do all sorts of things from professional development opportunities to career coaching, to events, to content, to anything we can do to help this next generation or this next group sort of be aware of what the opportunities are, and ultimately connect them to them so that they can get, a good leg up into their career. We're really focused on careers. And then obviously the beneficiary on the flip side of that is your audience.
Yeah. And so as an advice firm, how do I engage Striver to help me find talent?
Well, we try and make that as simple as possible. We're digitally enabled now, right? So there's humans here, and we've got 9 people in the business now. So we're always contactable that way. But ultimately, we make it as simple as possible for firms to set up a profile on our platform with no cost and no obligation to come through and look at the Strivers that we work with. All the Strivers that we showcase on our platform have been, have run through our technology, have had a face-to-face interview, have been psychometrically assessed and quality checked, and then we showcase them on the platform. And for a firm, even if they don't end up finding someone through Striver, they can come through, they can set up a profile in 20 seconds, they can, sort through and filter, candidates in their area that are looking for what they're looking for and filter down on some common traits and build shortlists and arrange interviews, and that's all digitally enabled. Ultimately, there's a human at the end of the phone if you need it, but we try and make it as simple and quick as possible.
And look, I can absolutely attest to that. I've been in strategy days with some of my clients, and we've brought up the portal, and we've had a look at the talent that's local to the business, and it is national, isn't it? You find candidates all around the country.
Yeah, and so and the platform at the moment is kind of built a bit sort of car sales or domain-esque, so you go on and you say, oh, I'm looking for a home, and then so it shows you all the homes that they have, and then you go, but I want them in this suburb or within this area, and so that narrows it down to that. And you say, I want them to have an interest in this, and I want them to have not three rooms or 4 rooms, but they can work 4 days a week or finish their degree, and it sort of starts to narrow down the group based on your demographics and your needs and your business needs. And then you can go, okay, cool, I've got to a short. You might tighten up the search constraints too much and you get nothing. And then you loosen them up and you go, okay, cool, well, there's 3. And then you can build that into a short list and arrange interviews. And so we just try and make it as natively natural for people, as natural, people understand domain and car sales.
Intuitive, it's quite easy to use.
We're not re-engineering that sort of familiarity on how the process works, just how we bring the talent onto the platforms, our unique proposition, and then how you find them. We make that simple.
Yeah. And look, I think what we really love is that you can actually, if you're looking at a candidate, you can look at their skills. You've got some really neat little tests and things that they do as well. They get badges. Tell me about that.
So we do a couple of things. We do a psychometric assessment, which is a job fit thing, how their attention to detail, how they work under pressure, are they socially extroverted or introverted, do they work in teams, they're dependable, all that sort of stuff. Some people love that stuff, some people are not so interested in that.
Yeah, and I tell you what, that is incredibly powerful, because the number of times that we've looked at a couple of different candidates and then you pull up those profiling reports and you can really get a bit of a sense for how they might work. Particularly for us, we help look at the team that's already in the business and say, well, you've kind of already got someone that's got a bit of that, so these people might fit. So I actually think that's really powerful for firms to tap into, because then they don't need to put them through that profiling themselves. But sorry, yeah. I did interrupt you around the badges and so forth.
Yeah, so we do that element and we put transcripts and so forth, but we've got a bunch of partners, right? So we partner with Zurich and we partner with Colonial First State and these organizations. And part of those partnerships is that, the student can come on and then we promote them to go off and do, 101 introduction to superannuation. So they'll go and do that, and Colonial First State provides that content. They go and do a course, they answer an assessment, they get a badge. And then they'll go off and do, introduction to insurance fundamentals powered by Zurich, and they go off and then do that content. They come back and they do an assessment, they get a badge. And so that's really interesting, because you as firms will look at it and go, oh, well, they've been exposed to a little bit of that, and they've also gone over and above and done a little bit more than the next striver on the platform. It's great for the student or the striver because they're getting some exposure to things and they love badges. And then it's great for the organizations because we're getting some brand out there. So we see that as really positive and proactive. When you can look on our platform, you can see that which candidates have done all of them and which have done none of them. And that could kind of give you a little bit of
that tells you a bit, right?
Idea on how driven they are and how really interested they are too.
Yeah. And I think you mentioned it before on the filters, it's not always people that have come out of their studies and are ready to start working. Is that it's what I love is you can pick people up doing 2-3 days a week while they're still studying.
In fact, that's probably really the only real solution these days too, Sue, because you know, I'm going to assume that when everyone's listening to this, there's still a tight job market, right? A tight labour market. And so, you know, if any firm's expecting to find a university student that's finishing their degree, that's perfect for them, and then sitting there twiddling their thumbs waiting for you to magically find them. My question would be, why hasn't someone else picked them up, or why haven't they got a job elsewhere? So actually hiring university students 2 or 3 days a week before they finish their degree, so you can see them, you know, and get some experience with them and work out whether or not there's a long-term partnership, will be good for cash flow, but also get them off the market, and it'll open the pool of talent to you and your firm far greater than just going, we're really hard on 5 days a week in the office, finish their degree. That's just, unfortunately, in this sort of marketplace, it doesn't work. So if you are able to look at job share or part-time or whatever, your opportunities and your choice really, really expand. And, you know, working in teams and people for, you know, the last 10 or 11 years, the single thing that creates the most anxiety in business owners and does the most damage to a team is making poor people decisions, right? So if you can expand your pool and you can actually focus on the right cultural fit, not so much on, is it the piece of paper I need, or is this the person that's going to fit in the team and actually cohesively join us and take us forward? That's the better. Focusing on that is far better than focusing on a piece of paper.
So true. And you do part of that anyway, right? So you don't actually, if you find students and you put them through the testing and you don't think that they're going to be appropriate for your favorite firms, you don't even put them on the platform, do you? So you've already got that level of quality control.
Yeah, so there's one thing. So like 7% of all the students that set up a profile on our platform end up getting showcased, right? And that means they might be too early, they might not have the right visa status, they might not have the right degree, they might be whatever, for whatever reason. We've interviewed them, we've just gone, no. Some of them will put in a holding pattern, they'll come on next year or whatever because they're a bit too early, or you know, and so it depends on the market and so forth. So we change that. But the quality that you see on there is always good. And then we'll overlay it with you know, if a firm says we really want to see Sue, and we go, well, we know Sue, Sue's not going to like you, and you're not going to like Sue, and this is why. And it's not anything personal. It's just because it's just, we know that there's not going to be a fit. We're not going to.
Yeah.
The worst thing, like I was talking to a candidate this morning who said, oh, you know, I like that firm, I've just got to think about it. And I had to say to him, don't worry. Like, if this is not the right fit for you or the firm, we're not going to force this. We could force it and we probably would win, but we would lose down the track because we know that candidate is not going to like that firm for a longer period of time. So they're going to end up resigning, and then the firm's going to be upset with us. And so we're better off to just call it early, because you know, I'm a business owner and the anxiety around hiring people and the risks to it are real. So let's take that away. I'd rather just, you know, say, if you can hold on, we'll find you someone else that's going to be better for you.
That's great. And the other thing I love about what you do is that you help manage expectations of these students as well. Because everybody knows you're not going to take somebody straight out of uni and boom, they're in front of clients advising, right? So this is where the strategy is. You bring them in, they're part-time while they're doing their studies, you put them through admin, CSO type roles, potentially into paraplanning, then through associate. And everybody always talks about, oh, these young students, they want everything for nothing, but you kind of counsel them in that career first, right? So they know that story before they come.
And we can as well, right? Because I know it's a bit harder for a firm to kind of do that. So there's two sides to that. So that when, you know, the candidates one is like, oh, it's going to be mainly paperwork. I said, you've got a year to go at university. Every job's going to be paperwork to start with. So, you know, the opportunities are good, and it's going to put you ahead, and you know, managing salary expectations and time to roll and stuff. And we can just kind of be pretty straightforward with them. We don't have to really dance around it because we're not in an employee sort of relationship. But then the flip side is, you know, and I've got a conversation with a firm after this, you know, who actually, I don't think that they know how they're coming across as a firm, right? So, and they're coming across, I really love the business and I love the business owner, and I think that they're fantastic, but what's being said and delivered from the top is not being replicated inside the firm. And
Right.
I don't know if anyone's brought it up. And so it's our role I think, if they want to continually work with us and help bring talent into their firm, that we need to have that conversation. And so there's no skin off our back. If that firm says, no, we're not interested in listening to the feedback, well, that's okay. But we can't really bring people into your firm because it's just going to not work for everybody and everyone's going to be disappointed. Or we meet halfway and we have a conversation about it. So it's our role and all of that sort of stuff to bring out things that no one else will tell them. And so with a student, no one else is telling you that you're expecting too much money or it's actually going to be paperwork for the first 6 months. Firm, this is why you're getting a no. This is
You're
why
in such
people
a
are not
unique
getting the roles.
position to be able to do that. That's so good. So good.
Yeah.
So let's talk price. How much does it cost a firm? So we know it doesn't cost anything to sign up to the website and check out the talent if they choose somebody and place them.
Yeah, we have a $5,500 flat fee with a 3-month replacement guarantee on a win, right? So if people hire them, the day they start, we invoice. And so, so we try to make it not a painful exercise there, and only on success. So, there's benefit for our strivers to go through the interview process, even if they don't get the job. So it's kind of a bit of a win-win. And also it takes away a bit of the pain point for firms to feel like they're not kind of obligated or committed to actually, getting involved, because I think the more we can do collectively as well of getting, young people in meeting firms and the conversation around talent and the future of the talent, there's a collective win for the profession there. And if there's hiring outcomes, great. There's a commercial action.
Yeah. And look, I mean, I only have to start thinking about the charge out rate for a principal who's typically the one that does a lot of this, even if it's practice manager, the amount of time you'd be spending advertising on Seeks, searching through everything, even if you find people that are going to apply, and then going through all of that work that you do before they even put them in front of them. I mean, the cost, I think, is really well spent. Even if you only put them on 2 days a week, $5,000 to find the right person, and even find someone, full stop, even before you add the words, the right person, that's really, it's a no-brainer, I think. And certainly the firms that I know that we have sent through to you and that have been Evolve Alliance members and have used you have not even quibbled about that because they've seen the value. It's been great.
It's generally not an issue.
No. So the last question I had for you was we've talked about the online portal. Are you still doing events where you used to do this speed networking thing?
Yeah, and we'll do more of them next year. I think we did about 18 of them this year. We finished up for the year because talent doesn't last long enough. So the speed networking events, the physical ones are always great. We did one of them this year in Queensland. We do them digitally on Zoom, and where we bring 6 candidates and 6 firms, and we have an hour, and everybody spends 6 minutes with everybody. You get 36 interviews in that time. It's really, really fun and energetic, and a really good spend of an hour for a firm to come and just go, right, let me sit down and just be inspired or inspiring to this next generation. And so we love doing them. The problem is, if you've got to book out 6 candidates to be there in 2 weeks with a market where they're moving like that, it's a bit hard to sort of keep them. But we'll do more of them next year, and they're also a great way for firms to just come and experience us. Who I have some clients that go, the technology, but we can just sit them in a room and just have this happen to them, and they go, oh, that's interesting, and then they'll get onto the platform and play. So it's a really easy way to do that. We don't charge for that as well. That's something we really enjoy doing, and we try and do as much of it as we possibly can.
Yeah, that's great. I did lie. I do have 2 more questions. One is it only financial advice students that you're placing?
Yeah, that's a really good question. We've our firms have changed, right? And so our clients have changed, and our students have changed. So we have firms and professional services that are accounting and financial planning and mortgage broking and so forth. And we have talent that sort of has changed in demand too. The other thing that we've noticed a lot is a lot of our clients have got technology in there and have data problems and data solutions, or need data solutions. So we actually meet the candidates in the firms where they are. I'm a financial planning firm, but I'm looking for a data scientist or a business intelligence operator or whatever, or an accounting student or someone to get in the mortgage business. And then when we talk to our students, we go, well, what do you want to be when you grow up? And they say, I want to be a rocket scientist and an investment banker. And we go, well, had you thought about financial planning or data analytics because of your statistics background? And then they tell us what they're interested in. We confirm that, and then when you come onto the platform and you say, I'm looking for a data scientist or an accountant or someone with interest in financial planning or a software engineer, then those candidates come up in the search filter. So we're not doing veterinary and everything else. We're doing basically business and commerce, and then more data and software. But our lineage has always been financial planning and accounting firms, so that's where you'll find the maximum of that.
Yeah, great. And that does lead me to the last question, to get a bit more of a sense of Strivr from a size of the business. You said you've got 9 staff on board now. Talk to me about the bigger picture of Strivr.
Oh, look, we believe that there's a problem that we're really passionate about, being a part of solving in, financial advice. And that's something that, I've personally been involved in for 10 years and I've been in advice since 2000. So I've been around for a bit now. And we're just doing more of it, right? So we partner with these large brands and these large organizations, not necessarily to hire into them, but to then go back into the universities to kind of really promote privately owned professional services firms as great places to operate. Like if you really wanted to get me on my soapbox, and I don't see this going away in the near time, is that we as a profession or as a group of people or as finance or whatever it is, we're not competing with each other anymore. We're not competing with Goldman Sachs. We're not competing with CommBank. We're not competing with Deloitte. We're competing against Canva, Google, Atlassian. These are the organizations now. 10 years ago, it was banks and the big four doing it. Now it's, those organizations that are going to high school, being in first year universities, putting their logos on the side of buildings at universities and saying to young people, we'll hire you now, do your marketing or your stats or your finance degree, and we'll put you into the Canva operational team and we'll employ you now, and away you go. And we have seen a little bit of, a downside of those larger organizations now, but collectively it's the whole channel that needs the support and capturing, this diminishing talent pool, which is, a demographic issue that we're all going to have to deal with. So, what's the bigger picture? Just, helping our clients compete for talent and helping talent get fantastically rewarding careers into the future, doing more of that.
Yeah, that's fantastic. And we do love what you do in the community for the greater profession. It's awesome. So, hey, look, thanks so much, Ali. In terms of people being able to reach out, if they love this story and they go, yes, I need to find my next superstars through you, we're going to put the link to the platform in this post. Any other tips for people?
No, but, invest in growing in people should be one part of your overall people strategy. And we're here to help, and we'll do what we can to make it as seamless and smooth and rewarding as possible for you.
Coming. Great. Well, Ali, it's fabulous to have you as a provider member. Look forward to seeing more and more introductions. Thanks for coming.
Cheers.